function without it. So I had to run all the way back home to get it, to make sure that I had it. Lined up, yes, we're lined up well enough. Okay, I have to silence this little darling. Goodbye. All right. So, good morning, Woodland Pond. As I said, I'm sorry to be a little bit late, but we're ready for a Monday morning yoga session. I hope you had a chance to get outside and get a little exercise in the fresh air, like walking. So it was a wonderful weekend. Let me get rid of my keys. Alrighty, so we're going to start sitting down as we always do. If you're going to sit in a chair, sit on the front edge of your chair. Don't sit where you can lean back. And put your feet flat on the floor, lined up looking like the number 11, with your knees lined up over your ankles. Good. Or you can sit on the floor, hopefully on a zafu, with lotus, half lotus, cross-legged, whatever feels good. And then we can roll our pelvis forward. We can pull in our abs, lift our breastbone, and balance our head beautifully on our necks while we ask our shoulder blades to slide down our backs. Let's close our eyes for a few seconds, scan your body, and ask yourself how you're doing. How's your digestion? How are your joints? What's your mood today? And opening our eyes, we can extend our hands, palms up, inhale up. Let's do 2 fountain breaths. Good. All righty. So let's look over our right shoulder. Come back to center. Let's look over our left shoulder. And come back to center. Good. Let's warm up our shoulders. All you have to do is make the largest forward circle your shoulder is capable of making. And then we'll go backwards a few times. We'll get the juices flowing. We'll lubricate this important joint. Good, and we'll let that go. And on the other side, we'll do a nice forward roll. If you have any flat spots, just notice, and then we'll go backwards. Now remember, if your body can't or shouldn't do something because of arthritis, surgery, injury, whatever, just skip it. Everything I say is a suggestion, not a demand. All right, so let's do our cat and cow stretches. So our head is coming forward, our belly is going backwards, and we're exhaling down. As we inhale, we're lifting our breastbone and looking up, and then we exhale down. And you just go back and forth at your own pace. Timing your actions with your breathing. Because yoga is all about integrating your mind with your body. Good. When you have finished that, let's do the stir the pot. We're pretending that our spine is a wooden spoon, and the bowl that we're stirring is our pelvis. Don't forget to go backwards. The circle can be as large or small as feels good for you. And when you've had enough of that, just come back to center, give everything a nice loosening wiggle. Take a breath. Good. Let's push away our imaginary wall. Fan your hands out as broadly as they can be. Pretend your fingers don't really like each other. And then make a soft little fist and point it at the floor. We're stretching the top of our wrist. Go back to pushing away that wall. Really feel it right from the middle of your back. Then index finger to thumb and squeeze. second, third, and fourth. Backwards, fourth, third, second, and first. Good. Let's shake that off, let that go. And we'll play piano scales this morning on our magic silent piano. And then turn your palms up and gently let them flop. And this stretches the inside of your wrist. It's a very gentle movement. Good. We'll let that go. All righty. So let's make our little hooks with our hands. Bring your elbows up. Put your two hooks together. Sit up straight and tall and pull your hands apart with a nice sustained effort, breathing all the way. Good. Let's relax that. This time we're going to go into push mode. You can put your hands together in prayer position. If your wrists don't like being flexed, you can put your knuckles together and push. We're activating now all of the muscles that work in opposition to the pulling muscles. Breathe. Good. Let that go. We're going to go back to pulling. So take your little hooks, put them together, and pull. Keep breathing. Good. Let that go. We're going to go back to the pushing motion. So you can either use your knuckles or your palms and push. Nice sustained effort. Good. And then we'll let that go. Give everything a nice wiggle to let it loosen up. Take a breath. Good. So let's do a lion breath. So for the lion breath, I like to move my feet. You can put your lower body wherever you want to have it. That's fine. So to do the lion breath, we're going to take a big inhale. And when we let it out, we're going to roar right from the gut. We're going to open up all of our face, eyes, nose, ears, tongue comes out, the whole 9 yards, and roar. Then we're going to inhale. We're going to suck all of our face to the point of our nose. We really scrunch it up. And then we're going to roar out again. And then we're going to squeeze up on the inhale. So you ready? Here we go. Inhale. Good. Let's follow that up with some exaggerated chewing. Your entire face gets into the act. Chew on the left. Chew on the right. Make your chin go in a circle. Go left or backwards. And then let that go when you're ready. And just take a second, take a couple of deep breaths. And feel your face. It should feel substantially different than when we started. All righty. So let's see, what would we like to do next? I think we should work on our neck. We've already opened up most of our spine with our cat and cow stretches. So let's now work on the top of our vertebra. So we're going to use our nose as a pointer, and we're going to draw a figure 8 on its side using our nose. Don't forget to go backwards. Listen to all those funny pops. And when you're ready, come back to center. So we're going to sit up nice and straight and tall. We're going to allow our chin to approach our breastbone, but don't let your breastbone sink. Continue to have your breastbone raised while you let your chin come down. And sooner or later, it's going to stop. And you think, well, that's as far as it's going to go. But if you're patient, and if you breathe encouragement into the big trapezius muscle at the back of your shoulders, you'll find that your chin will go a little bit lower. When it's going a little bit lower, just roll your right ear to the right. So now your right ear is looking at your right shoulder. You're looking at the wall opposite, and you can feel the left side of your neck opening up. Breathe. And when you're ready, you can nod a little yes. And when you want, you can roll your head to the middle and over to the left. So now your left ear is looking at your left shoulder, you're looking at the wall opposite, and you're focusing your attention on the right side of your neck as all those little muscles and ligaments begin to open. And you can nod a little yes. When you're ready, you can roll your chin to your chest and over to the right, back to the middle and over to the left. And just go around and around, back and forth, at your own pace. Opening and closing all of the discs between your vertebrae. And when you've had enough of that, you just come back to center. Give everything a nice loosening wiggle. Take a breath. And now it's time for a seated spinal twist. So if you're sitting in a chair, leave your lower body alone. It's exactly where it needs to be. If you're on the floor, it's right foot over left, left arm to right knee. Everybody sit up straight and tall, lift your breastbone, use your hands on the floor or your chair to pivot to the right, and breathe. Now while we're sitting here, this is the time for you to cruise through your body, looking for anything that you might want to improve. You want to lift your breastbone if it has sunk. You want to pull your abs in if they have gone slack. You want to take a look at your left toes if you're on the floor. And let's twist back a little bit deeper and release it. Good. Release your shoulders. Take a breath. Feel everything reorganizing. So once again, if you're in a chair, leave your lower body alone, it's fine. If you're on the floor, it's left foot over right, right arm to left knee. Everybody sit up straight and tall. Use your hands and pivot to your left. Ah, wonderful. Take a good breath. Keep your chest lifted. Keep your right shoulder back. You don't want it sneaking around to the left. Keep breathing. And now we should be able to twist back a little bit deeper and release it. Come back to center. Let everything wiggle back into its preferred position. And we're ready to do the frog today. So today I'm going to do it sitting in a chair, because that's a very good way to do it. So you need to move forward to the front edge of your chair so you can spread your feet wide apart and then sit up straight and tall. Lift your breastbone. We don't want to go down like a deflating balloon. That doesn't get what we want. What we want is to stretch your hips. So keep your head and chest up as you lean forward. And you just go very slowly as the stretch begins. There's nowhere you have to go. You just keep leaning forward until you cannot comfortably do it anymore. The closer you get to your maximum stretch, the slower you go. Your big hips need the time to begin to open before they can give you any more stretch. So we need to be patient with them. We need to breathe encouragement into them. And when you think you've been here as long as you need to be here, you simply begin to reverse the process, once again, keeping your head and chest up. Sit up. Very good. Now we're going to stand up. Shake out your legs a bit. Roll your shoulders to loosen them. Take a breath. Good. So let's put ourselves into Tadasana. Typically, we stand with our toes apart, our heels together, our tummy protrudes, our chest sinks, and there we are. Not a pretty picture. So for yoga, we stand with our feet parallel to each other, hip width apart, which, if you need to know, is two fists together on the floor between the ball mounds of your feet, and there's your hip width. Okay, so feel the floor, feel the bottoms of your feet as they hold you up. Each quadrant doing its fair share of holding you up. Okay, pull yourself up through your legs, tuck your pelvis a tiny amount, pull your abs in and up, lift your breastbone, take your shoulders back a little bit and slide them down your back. Balance your head on your neck. And there we are. This is Tadasana, the mountain posture. Feel the power, feel your ability to defy gravity. Take a big inhale because this is where you are with maximum lung capacity. In this posture, there are no kinks, no traffic jams, no stoppages. Everything's flowing smoothly. This is good posture. Let's bring our arms out, interlace your fingers, noticing which one's on top. Reverse your palms, stretch up tall, bring your hands behind your back, interlace, send them as low as they'll go, and lift into chest expansion. Feel the lovely stretch across the front of your chest. Breathe into it. Good. Let that go. Interlace again, but this time with the other finger on top. Reverse, stretch, bring your hands behind your back, interlace the unusual way, send them as low as they'll go, and lift. Breathe into that stretch. Good. Let's release it. Shake out. Roll your shoulders. Give them a nice loosening. And breathe. All righty. So let's see. I think we did Warrior 2 last time. Let's do Warrior 3. So most of us need a chair for Warrior 3. And you get to choose. You can either do Warrior 3 or you can do Downward Facing Dog from a standing position, whichever you prefer. And all we have to do is rest our hands on the back of our chair and begin to walk backwards. When we get as low as we're going to go, hopefully our head is between our elbows and our feet are underneath us. We can wiggle our feet a little bit and get a few more millimeters of stretch out of our back. And there we are. This is Downward Facing Dog from a standing posture. If you want to do Warrior 3, all you have to do is pick a leg and pick it up and point it straight out behind you. You don't have to point your toe. A soft flex is fine. The trick to this is not to allow your right hip to wander off to the right if, like me, you have lifted your right leg, but instead make sure to keep that hip facing the floor and breathe. If you're doing this without a chair, interlace your hands, pull them forward while you thrust your heel backward and breathe. Now, how long you stay here is entirely up to you. If you're already tired, you just put your foot down and walk forward. And of course, if you're not ready to come out of it, stay longer because there is no rush. And there we are. Once we get vertical, once again, we take a breath, give everything a nice wiggle to loosen it up. So now we're going to do it again because we have an asymmetrical posture. You have a choice. If you're doing Downward Facing Dog, you can either repeat it or skip it. Here we go. So once I get to where I want to be, I wiggle my feet. There I am. And now I can pick up the other leg. And once again, the challenge, since I'm raising my left leg, is not to allow my left hip to wander off to the left like this, but to keep that left hip facing the floor. And breathe. And once again, you get to make the same decision. When you come out of it is entirely up to you. If you're tired, come out of it now. If you're feeling strong, you can wait. Whenever you're ready to come out of it, all you have to do is walk forward, stand up, shake out your legs, wiggle your shoulders to help loosen, and take a nice deep breath. Good. Well, that worked well. Oh, I think a side stretch would be exactly the right thing to do. So I don't need my chair for this. I'm going to put my feet right back into Tadasana. And this time, I think we did the sliding hips last time. So this time we're going to keep our hips right over our feet at all times. No side-to-side motion. So we're going to take our left arms, we're going to let them slide down our side while we bring our right arm up and begin to lean to the left. Our left arm is traveling down our leg as we lean. Feel the right side of you begin to open. Look at the wall, not the floor. If you're interested in making this even more demanding, take your left hand and use it to pull on your right hand. When you're ready to come out of it, come up to standing. Bring your arms down, give them a nice wiggle. Take a breath. Good. This time, the right arm will travel down your leg as the left arm comes to the ceiling, and we begin to lean to the right, but our hips are still lined up over our feet, and we're looking at the wall, not the floor, and breathing into that stretch. And for those of you who are interested in doing this, you can take your right arm and use it to pull on your left. Keep breathing. When you're ready, come up standing, arms down, roll your shoulders, shake out your legs, take a nice breath. Good, all righty. So it's time for an inversion. Inversions are very important because it gives us an opportunity to get our head below our heart. So we're going to put our feet right back into Tadasana. I'm going to move my chair out of the way so I won't hit it. Okay, so there we are. Now we're going to stand up straight and tall. As we go down, we're not going to go down like a deflating balloon, which would be not healthy. So we're going to stand up straight. We're going to go down with a flat back, just the way we do in the frog. So we're going to do a swan dive. Inhale up. Stretch forward and release. Now, if your top of your head is not pointed at the floor, ask your neck to relax. It is off duty. Breathe comfort and encouragement into all the stretching muscles. And little by little, you'll go a little bit deeper. Then twist to the right, take hold of whatever part of your body you find there, and notice how the stretch has changed. And once again, for those overachieving necks, ask them to relax. Come back to center, twist to the left, take hold of whatever you find, and keep breathing. When you're ready to come out of it, all you have to do is come back to center, put your hands on your thighs, come up to a flat back, and stand up. As usual, loosen your shoulders, shake out your legs, take a nice breath. Good, that feels lovely. So let's do the sit-up, stand-up, sit-downs. Whatever. Anyway, you'll see in a second. Okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our chairs and we're gonna sit on the front edge of our chair. If you sit back the way you sit comfortably normally, you make it really hard on yourself. So make it easy on yourself, sit forward. Now, also, don't try to keep your feet together. And even this hip width may not be enough. You might want to go a little bit wider, and you might want to bring your feet back. All of these little adjustments will make it easier. If you find that this is very difficult to do, then by all means, do the chair. Okay, once you get your lower body organized, just cross your arms in front of your chest and stand up. And sit down. And stand up. And sit down. And stand up. And you go back and forth at your own rhythm. If I'm doing this too fast for your comfort, then slow it down. If I'm doing it too slowly for your comfort, speed it up. And if I'm doing too many of these for your comfort, then stop and take a breather. Yoga is not supposed to be full work. And you are in the driver's seat. You get to do as much or as little of this as you want. And there we are. Okay, so as usual, give everything a loosening wiggle. Shake out your legs. Take a nice breath. Good. So we're going to do our little circle walk. So lay out on the floor a 3 or 4 foot circle with no furniture, pets, or people in it. Turn to your right. Walk around for a little circle, taking the largest steps you comfortably can. And when you get back to the starting position, do the same little circle backwards. When you get back to your starting position, simply turn around 180. Walk your little circle forward. When you get to the starting position, you know what to do. So there you are. Good job. All right. So let's see, what should we do next? I think this would be a good time for a foot massage. So stick a foot out, bend that knee over that foot, draw a circle with that knee over that foot. Lean into it as much or as little as you want to do, and put your attention on the bottom of your foot. Go backwards. Notice how the bones of your feet are pressing the flesh of the bottom of your foot into the floor and giving it a pleasant massage. Good. Shake that out. Stick out the other foot. Bend that knee over that foot. Draw a nice circle over that foot. As usual, our goal is to squeeze out the old fluid. Go backwards. So that we can let the fresh fluid come rushing in to feed and cleanse these tissues. Good. Let's shake that out and let that go. Take a nice breath. Good. Give everything a nice wiggle. Okay, so we've come to the end of the first half hour of our time together. So for those of you who are not interested in getting down in the floor, I recommend that you take 5 to 20 minutes, lay down, close your eyes, and relax. Check in with your body, see how it feels, and see if it feels different than when you started this morning. I'll see you back here 10 a.m. Friday morning. Namaste. All right, so for the floor folks, what are we going to do today? Let's see. I think we should start sitting on the floor. So get yourself comfortable sitting on the floor and your legs are straight out in front of you. We're going to do a nice back stretch. We're going to start with a hip stretch that will then turn in. So we're sitting up nice and straight and tall, and we're going to begin by leaning forward, keeping our head and chest up. Some people like a little bouncing action to encourage the hips to begin to open. Other people are not too fond of this. You do whichever makes you happier. The idea is simply to slowly lean forward to give your hips the time that they need to adjust to this new position. When you feel you're ready, you can bring your head and chest down to the neighborhood of your knees. Nowhere that you must touch your knees, so don't worry about that. Some people like to reach out for their feet and gently, gently pull to deepen the stretch. And by now you should be feeling a considerable stretch up and down the backs of your legs. Other people enjoy interlacing their hands behind their heads, dropping their elbows, which also intensifies the stretch and helps stretch the upper back. Breathe into it. The more you can lower your head, the more intense the stretch in your middle and upper back. And stay as long as you like. But if you're ready to come out of it, you just slowly unfold yourself till you're upright and give your shoulders a nice loosening movement. Take a nice breath. And feel your back as it reorganizes itself. So we're going to repeat the last stretch we did when we were sitting with our feet apart, because I had a revelation and I want to repeat it. I touched my toes for the first time ever in that posture. I'm going to do it again. So we're going to be heading for our right foot, but we're going to try and turn our torso and particularly our pelvis to face our left foot before we begin. Now, to begin, we're going to bring our right foot hand down to the floor next to our right leg. And if you can sneak a finger or two under your right leg, that's lovely. Now, we will be tempted to pull our left shoulder down to face our right foot. Resist that temptation. Pull your left shoulder back behind you. Bring your left arm up, pointed at the ceiling, and begin to bring it towards your right foot. Do it slowly. There is no rush, and we need to give our bodies the time to open and get accustomed to what we're doing. Oh, son of a gun, I can touch my toes on this side too. I'm amazed. Make sure that you're facing the opposite wall, not the floor. Feel the stretch. Breathe into that stretch. Give encouragement to all parts of your body that is stretching. When you're ready to come out of it, and there's no rush, stay longer if you feel like it. Just slowly bring your arm up as you slowly sit up. Come to center. Give a nice slow motion wiggle to let everything reorganize. Take a breath. I don't know about you, but I'm delighted. Okay, so the other side. So this time we're going to be heading for our left foot. We're going to try to get our pelvis to face our right foot. Good. As good as it's going to get. So now our left arm comes down, left hand, if you can sneak it under your left leg, great. If not, okay. So now, don't let your right shoulder come down towards your left foot. We want to take that. Right shoulder goes behind us, pointing to the ceiling, as our right arm comes up across the ceiling, and we begin to lean towards our left foot. Again, we're looking at the wall, we're not looking at the floor. And you do it in slow motion. Nobody snaps into a stretch. I'm looking for my toes. Oh, there they are. Good. Okay. Feel the stretch. Breathe encouragement to all those stretching muscles. I can't tell you how thrilled I am to be able to touch my toe. When I was in my late 40s and early 50s, I could not do this, and I am astonished. When you're ready to come out of it, stay longer if you want. Just lift your right arm toward the ceiling as you slowly sit up. Lean back on your hands if you want. Wiggle everything. Take a breath. And we'll let that work and effort go. Alrighty. So we need to do a power move so that we can strengthen everything. And I think the first power move that we're going to do today is the inverted tabletop. Now, the inverted tabletop requires us to lean our body weight on our wrists. Many of you have wrist issues, so instead of doing the inverted tabletop, I recommend that you do the bridge because that takes your wrists out of the equation altogether. So if you're going to do the bridge or the inverted tabletop, we start with our butt on the floor and our feet flat on the floor. If you're doing the bridge, you bring your feet as close to your butt as possible. But for those of us who are doing the inverted tabletop, we've got our feet about a foot away from our butt, and they are hip width apart. Similarly, our hands are about shoulder width apart, and our fingers are facing away from us. Our hands are roughly a foot away from our butt. So what we're going to be doing is we're just going to lift our pelvis towards the ceiling to see if we can get them as high as our knees. Our head goes back, and we breathe and hold the position as long as you can. Here we go. Don't forget to breathe. Meanwhile, bridge people are doing the bridge. Both have the same goal. Get your hips as close to the ceiling as you possibly can. Stay as long as you like, and when you're ready, simply lower your butt to the floor. Come off your arms, take a deep breath. Loosen up everything that's been working. And there we are. That's a good power motion for us for today. So we're going to now do another power pose in the opposite direction. So we're going to do the plank. So for this, we have to get into tabletop. But before we do the plank, we're going to do a couple of other things that will also be strengthening. So here we are. If your wrists don't like the tabletop posture, feel free to come up onto your fists or down onto your elbows. Either way works beautifully. Let's start by stretching our arms, right arm straight out from our shoulder and down. Left arm, left leg, right leg. So now we're going to do the crossbody crunches. Right arm, left leg Stretch, elbow to knee, stretch and down. Left arm, right leg. Stretch, elbow to knee, stretch and down. And you go back and forth doing as many of these as makes you happy. And if it doesn't make you happy, that's too bad. And when you've had enough of that, you just come back to center. And now we can get ready for the plank. So the plank is another exercise, or posture rather, that strengthens your shoulders, but it also is strengthening your entire core, including your abs. So the idea is to make a perfectly straight line from the crown of your head to your heels. You hold that posture as long as you can be comfortable doing it. When you're done, you put one knee down, the other knee down, and you go into child pose or on your back. So we start near the front of our mat. We send one foot back, toes curled, the other, pick up your head, drop your butt, breathe. Now you can stay as long as you like, and several of you are much stronger than I am, so feel free to make that as long as you wish. I, on the other hand, am going into the child pose. Unless the microphone refuses to accept that, in which case I'll go over on my back. I don't know about you, but those two power moves have substantially raised my temperature. So once you've had a chance to rest a little bit, let's roll over onto our backs. Knees up. Take a couple of breaths. Let your body reorganize into this posture. Then put your hands on the floor and draw a circle on the ceiling with your two knees together, feeling the pleasant massage that it's giving your lower back. And then go backwards. Bring your knees back to center. Let's bring your left foot to the floor, slide it out till it's straight. Interlace your fingers over your right knee, pull it towards your chest on the exhale, let it rebound on the inhale, and go back and forth. This, of course, is the wind relieving posture. If you go to a museum, you have to do a lot of standing around. When you get home, bring your left knee up, transfer your hands, put your right foot on the floor, stretch it out, and continue. If you do this when you get home, it will ease the tension in your back caused by a lot of standing. When you've had enough of this, let's put both feet flat on the floor. Let's bring the soles of our feet together in the cobbler pose. Let your knees spill apart, getting as close to the floor as they naturally can. Then bring your hands up into the space above your chest, interlace them, and draw a circle on the ceiling. Notice the pleasant massage that the middle and upper part of your back is getting. At the same time, your hips are getting a very pleasant hip opener. When you're ready, reverse your palms to the ceiling, bring them as close to the floor over your head as they'll go. You can open your hands, slide your legs out straight, and stretch. Good. Let's release that stretch. And let's roll to one side to come up to a seated position. Alrighty, so it's going to be time for a little ab work here. So I'm going to do the ab work sequence. So we're sitting up straight and tall, keeping your knees as close together as they're willing to be. Sit up straight, bring your arms out to the side, turn one palm up and look at it, then the other one and look at it, and go back and forth. Meanwhile, pull your abs in. And hands back to knees, pull yourself up a bit. This time we're going to roll back, pull your abs in, take your hands off, look at your abs and see whether they're popping out or pulled in, and breathe. Come on back up. This time we're going to lift our feet off the floor to find our balance point. So here we go. Pull your abs in and breathe. Come back to the beginning when you're ready. Let your abs relax for a couple of seconds. Ah, well, that feels good. Okay, so we're going to do the crunches. Now, if you don't want to do the crunches, you can do something else. We have lots of ab work that you can choose from. Of course, you can do as many or as few of those as you want to do. When you're done, simply lean forward, let your abs relax. Take a nice breath, let that work and effort go. And let's lay down. Take a couple of nice deep breaths. Let's bring our arms overhead again, and this time stretch just your right side. And release it. Just your left side. And feel those nice abs stretch. Back to the right side. Feels so good to stretch after crunching. And the left side again. And release it. Good. Alrighty. So today let's do the half pigeon. So bring your feet up so that they're resting flat on the floor, hip width apart, and put your right ankle on your left knee. Right hand on right knee. Push it away, let it rebound, etc. Now take your right hand between your thighs, your left hand on the outside of your left thigh. Without moving your right leg, just pick up your left leg, interlace your hands behind it, and there you are. the half pigeon on your back. You should be feeling a lovely stretch in your right cheek. The gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the body. Now, if you want, you can intensify that stretch by pulling your left thigh closer to you, rolling a wee bit to your left, or extending your left leg to the ceiling. You can use any one or combination of those motions that feels good to help you maximize what you get out of this posture. Which combination, if any, that you choose to use is entirely up to you because it's your body and you are in charge. When you've had enough of this kind of stretch, you simply release your hands, allow your left foot to come to the floor, put your right foot on the floor, put your left ankle on your right knee, left hand on left knee, and push it away and let it rebound, etc. Okay, take your left hand between your thighs, your right hand outside your right thigh. Pick up your right thigh, interlace your hands behind your right thigh, and there you are. Hopefully you're feeling a big stretch in your left cheek. Pause and breathe into that big muscle. Give it the encouragement it needs to open up. And of course, if you wish to employ any of the adjustments you had on the left, whether it's pulling your arms closer, rolling a bit to your right, or straightening your right leg, you can employ them at will. The important thing is that you try to relax your butt while you're doing this. Encourage that big muscle to just stretch and open. When you're ready to release it, all you have to do is slowly release your hands. Your right foot comes to the floor. Your left foot comes to the floor. And now it's time to put on socks, sweaters, blankets, get cushions, whatever that you might need to stay warm and comfortable while we do our deep relaxation. Usually we do our deep relaxation laying flat on the floor. For some people though, if you have lower back problems, laying flat on the floor is not comfortable and is rather stressful for your back. So for you folks, I'm going to suggest that you consider laying on your side, either putting your head on a cushion, or if you don't have a cushion handy, you can use your arm. Your knees are drawn up. And this is more soothing for a lower back that is not happy, particularly if you have something like sciatica. Alternatively, laying on your back, but putting your lower leg in the seat of a chair is also very soothing for a bad back. A variation of what I'm doing is to stretch out my bottom leg and allow my top leg, knee, and lower leg to rest on the floor in front of me. Once you get into your resting posture, it's important to close your eyes, take a couple of nice deep breaths, and simply surrender to gravity's pull. We can trust the floor to hold us up. We do not have to do any kind of work to hold us up. And now we have the leisure to cruise through our body, searching for muscles that have not gotten the memo. On the inhale, we look for muscle groups that are still in achievement mode. And on the exhale, we try to convince them to let go. Little by little, more of our body gets closer to the floor. Learning to let go is one of the most important aspects of yoga. If you have finished scanning your body, looking for muscles that you can encourage to let go, it's time to turn your attention to your breathing. So now it's time to wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, make any motions that will loosen you, maybe a stretch, or whatever else works well for your body, as we then roll to one side to come up to a position. Hi, Kim. Wiggle your shoulders a little bit, loosen up. Let's put our hands in prayer position. Sit up straight and tall, lift your breastbone. Let's close our eyes, lower our heads, and give thanks for this day. And lifting our heads and opening our eyes, we can say to one another, namaste. I hope you have a wonderful week. I'll be back same time, same station on Friday. See you then.